An 18-year-old girl picks up a baby from a garbage dump and raises it. Everyone says she's stupid, but she changes the fate of the whole world. What's hidden in the two children? And why did this ordinary woman become the mother of the universe? This is not just a touching story, but a mystery that will change your mind forever. Watch until the end, and you won't believe that it all started from a garbage dump. 18-year-old girl rescues two babies from a garbage dump, called stupid, but the ending will surprise you. The scorching sun beat down on a deserted, dusty road. Flies buzz around the rotting pile of garbage. The stench was so foul it made the throat clench, nearly impossible to breathe. Lisa, 18 years old, walked through the heat and the foul smell. She wore torn shoes and a faded t-shirt stained with dirt. Ahead was a massive garbage pile, a place no one wanted to go near. She bent down to pick up an old plastic bottle, hoping to sell it for a meal. Then she heard a sound, a faint sound like a kitten crying. But it wasn't. The sound came from a black garbage bag. Lisa stopped. Her heart pounded. Her hands trembled as she slowly opened the trash bag. Inside were two newborn babies, red, fragile, barely breathing. She staggered back a step, eyes wide. The smell of blood and rotten food hit her nose. Her hands went cold. One of the babies slowly opened its eyes. Clear, glassy eyes stared back at her. No one else was around. No sounds except the baby's breathing. Lisa gathered her courage and lifted both infants into her arms. Their skin was damp and cold. Tears fell from her eyes without her realizing. She ran, through the sun, down the road, to her old wooden house. Neighbors shook their heads as they saw her. Stupid girl. Why take on more burdens? You can't even feed yourself. Why take in babies? But Lisa said nothing. She cleaned the babies with the only clean water she had, wrapped them in her one thin towel, shared her dinner with them. Days passed, and the babies began to get stronger. Lisa earned a bit more from selling scrap as word spread. Some kind people brought her powdered milk, but many still insulted her every time they saw her. One evening, there was a knock at the door. Lisa opened it slowly. A strange man in a suit stood there. He held a folder and had a faint smile on his face. He asked to see the babies. She hesitated but let him in. He pulled out a photo from his pocket. Pictures of the same babies, from before they were abandoned. These children, they're not ordinary, he said. Lisa's eyes widened. The babies began to cry again. Lisa turned to look. One of them had glowing silver eyes. Their skin began to shift, no longer looking human. A tiny hand clenched and floated just slightly off the ground. Lisa froze. The room temperature dropped instantly. The man in the suit closed the door. Lisa stood motionless, her hand still stretched toward the baby, but her arm trembled uncontrollably. From the corner of the room, a gray shadow began to creep, like fog, but not fog. It moved rhythmically, slowly, as if it were alive. The baby floated a little higher. Its body gently trembled, as if absorbing energy from the air. Lisa turned to the man. "What is this? What are these children?" she whispered. The man didn't answer immediately. He only smiled and handed her the folder. On the cover, Project 09 Bloodline of the Dawn. Inside were several documents. Photos of babies in a laboratory, complex biographs. The words DNA hybrid of human and ether prototype made Lisa nearly collapse. She looked up, her eyes filled with fear. "You mean they're not human?" The man nodded. They were created in a top-secret project, but someone stole them before full control was established. Someone smuggled them out, then dumped them like trash. Lisa clenched her teeth. She looked at the two babies now lying still. Their eyes glowed faintly. "And now you're taking them away, aren't you?" she asked, voice shaking. The man stared at her, then spoke softly. "It's not a choice anymore. They're starting to manifest power. If they stay here, it won't be safe for you or for them." Lisa shook her head. "I can care for them. I fed them. I gave them a home. The floor began to tremble, a soft vibration that grew stronger. The other baby cried out, a piercing sound. The window glass rattled with the frequency. Lisa clutched her ears. Blood seeped from her temples. She collapsed. The man pulled a device from his bag. A blue light shot toward the babies. Suddenly, everything went silent. No sound. No tremble. Nothing moved. Time stood still. Lisa gasped, trying to lift herself up, but her body was numb. The man approached her. They weren't meant to wake yet. If they fully awaken, what you saw today will only be the beginning. He leaned close to her face. "You have a strong heart, and you changed them. Even though they were designed to be weapons, you made them human." Lisa looked at the babies now appearing as normal children again. No glow, no power, only soft breathing. She reached out her hand, but the man stepped back. His device glowed again. "We'll take care of them in the right place." The blue light flashed again, and the two babies vanished. No sound, No smoke, no trace. Lisa screamed. Her voice echoed through the empty house. She collapsed, crying until she had no strength left. Beside her lay only the warm towel, and a small note handwritten. If they ever awaken truly one day, they will remember you. Years passed. Lisa grew into a quiet, solemn woman. She left that old house, lived a quiet life. No one knew what she had been through. But one rainy night, as she returned home, the porch light suddenly went out, and at the door, there was a soft knock. Twice, she walked over and opened the door. Raindrops fell gently. In front of her stood a young man and woman, about 18 years old. Familiar faces, eyes glowing silver. "Mother," the girl whispered. Lisa stood frozen. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Her story was never told in newspapers or on TV. But that night, she knew what she had done that day wasn't stupidity. It was a choice that changed the future of something far greater than anyone could imagine. Lisa looked at the young man and woman before her. Her heart raced like it would burst from her chest. Her hands trembled as she slowly reached out to touch their faces. Their skin was warm, as if glowing from within. Their eyes held a strange sparkle, not just silver, but like starlight. "Do you remember us, Mom?" the young man asked, his deep voice carrying the echo of the baby she once saved, now filled with power. Lisa stepped out the door and hugged them tightly. No words came, only tears, uncontrollable. The rain kept falling, but none of the drops touched them, as if the rain was deflected by an invisible force. "What happened to you after that day?" Lisa finally asked. The girl looked up. "We were taken to a place you might call a lab, but it wasn't like anyone could imagine. There were other kids like us," the boy continued, "but none survived awakening, except us. They didn't understand what we wanted to be. They wanted us to be weapons, but we wanted heart." Lisa fell silent, her body trembling. She imagined what they endured. Needles, machines, steel cages, cold eyes looking at them like objects. "How did you escape?" The girl smiled faintly. "It wasn't an escape, it was a return. And we're awake now. We've learned to control it. We can choose our path." The young man pulled a small wooden box from his coat. It looked ordinary, but Lisa knew it wasn't. He opened it. Inside floated a piece of clear crystal. Golden light swirled around it like glowing mist. "This is the spirit core they tried to create, but no one could bond with it until you showed us what love meant." Lisa felt light envelop her body. Every sensation, every emotion returned. She saw herself in the past, crying, holding two babies in a wooden room. Their heartbeats, their breaths, all of it was inside the crystal. "This is what we've kept all along," the girl said. "You're the only reason we became who we are, not who they made us to be." Suddenly, the sky above changed color, like a curtain of heaven ripped open, revealing the universe beyond. A massive light formed above the house, a sound like the stars whispering. "We're not just experiments," the girl said. "We're the bridge between the human world and something beyond the universe." Lisa's eyes widened. "Does that mean you're leaving again?" The young man bowed slightly. "Something is coming. It will target the weakest point of the world and consume everything. But we are the balance. We were created to fight it, and we chose you as the heart of our power." The light from the box surged into Lisa's chest. She felt energy rush through every vein. Her memories, her pain, her love, all fused together. She saw shattered futures, cities fallen, people in fear, black shadows flowing across Earth like endless ink. But in the vision, she saw herself standing in the darkness, and beside her, the two children, now protectors of the world. A voice echoed in her mind. "Lisa, you are our heart." She swallowed hard, stood tall, like she knew her destiny. "I won't run," she declared. "We fight together." A beam of light burst from her body. It shot into the sky. Everything trembled. The world began to change, and what lurked in the shadows felt the awakening of something it never expected. The game of the universe had just begun, and it all started with two babies in a garbage pile, and a girl who never hesitated to love them, even when the whole world called her foolish. Asterisk, asterisk. Beneath the pillar of light, the sky echoed with faint roar, as if a giant being was waking from slumber. Lisa felt her skin vibrate, as if her body might be torn apart. Yet deep inside, she felt peace. The power of the two children flowed through her as one. No gap between mother and child. No shared blood, but a bond stronger than even the universe could comprehend. She saw visions, places filled with light and shadow, floating towers, voices in many tongues. Thoughts merged into one force. She understood this was no longer the world of humans. "We're not just children," the boy said, voice steady. "We are the bridge to what lies beyond the edge of time.